All right, here we are on slide 6. We're going to talk all about Noh theater. Remember, it's spelled Noh. Um, okay, so a major influence on Noh theater is Zen Buddhism, which was a and is a religion practiced in Japan. And this was a really major influence on the development of Noh theater and how it was performed. So, a big belief of Zen Buddhism is that ultimate peace comes through a union with all beings through acceptance that our individual desires need to be abandoned and that nothing in earthly life is permanent. So these are the kinds of themes that were developed in a Noh performance. Um, Most typical Noh plays had protagonists or main characters who are ghosts, demons, or human beings who are like so obsessed with something that their souls cannot find rest because in life they were too devoted to things like worldly honor or love, some other goal that keeps drawing their spirit back to the physical world. Um, there are 5 types of Noh dramas. There are plays praising gods. There are plays about warriors. There are plays about women. There are plays about, number 4, plays about demons, devils, or other supernatural beings. Ooh. And then the 5th category is just kind of miscellaneous. Anything else that would kind of get thrown into that last category. So if you were to go to a Noh program, you would actually see one play of each of those 5 types. Very long experience going to a Noh program. And it would make up a pattern. Seeing each of those types of those 5 plays makes up a pattern. And it was meant to show first the innocence and the peace of the world of the gods. And that's what you would see when you saw the play of Praising Gods. And then when you saw the play about warriors, that was meant to show human error. And then after that, and you saw the plays about women, it was meant to show repentance and the possibility of redemption. And then you'd get to the plays about the demons and the devils or other supernatural beings, and those were meant to show the glory of defeating any kind of forces that stand in the way of peace and of harmony for your soul. So there was like this thematic, um, you know, adventure for a soul to go on as you're watching all these types of plays. Now, the tricky part is a Noh program can be really hard to follow because it's not really like a linear, again, it's not what we in the Western world expect out of a play. It's a very different experience, and it doesn't follow kind of a chronological enactment. It's not linear. It's kind of like a recollection and a reenactment of past events. It's much more like mood based and kind of like based on like an emotional state. It, it was a musical dance drama. It's really telling a story through choreography. And not like musical theater choreography, like jazz hands. It's definitely a distinct type of dancing and choreography. So anyone dancing on stage during a Noh drama would not have been telling the story or singing or chanting or anything. They would just be dancing. And then there would be a chorus of 6 to 10 members off to the side who would narrate most of the events during the play and sing all the lines. The dancing or the movement might be a better way for us to understand it. The movement is very restrained and it almost seems to be in slow motion. They were definitely traditionally acted by men. The costumes are very rich in color and are based on the official dress of the time. The chorus would just be in simple black kimonos. What was really interesting is the Noh performers in the 1300s and onward were taken under the protection of the shoguns, and they were given samurai status. They were really valued in society, and they were given stipends. So they were, again, paid for by the royal court of Japan. And this is really interesting. There were 5 schools or branches of no performers recognized by the shogunate of Japan. And the leaders of each of these groups were made hereditary. So basically, it would be like, okay, there's these 5 groups, these 5 like acting groups, and they were the 5 groups that performed the no plays or performances. And the shogunate or the leaders of Japan decided that um, this was going to be like a hereditary thing, that you could only perform no if you were part of one of these 5 groups, and it was going to be hereditary. So you could only perform it if you were like born into this group. Like your father was a member of that particular no group, or your grandfather was, or something like that. So it's like passed down through the bloodlines. And it still exists today. So wild. The ancestor, the generations of these performers still exist today, and these groups actually still exist today. Isn't that crazy? I find that fascinating. Um, okay, so what does all this mean? It's hard to comprehend, right, when we have more of a Western vision of plays. So on the next slide, I've linked 2 different no performances that I really want you to take a look at so that you can get, again, a feel for what the heck we're talking about here. So again, no video of me on the next slide. It's okay. It's all right. I'll return later. So go on to slide 7, which is the next slide, and take a look at the 2 different no performances I've linked there, just so you can get a feel for what these really are like. Again, they're still being performed today, so we have a fortunate thing in that we can see video of them, which is great. All right, do that, and I'll see you on another slide later on. Bye-bye.